Welcome to Reality Radio, where God has touched ordinary people in an extraordinary way.
I'm very pleased to have in the studio with me today for Reality Radio, Kelly Mark. Kelly, thanks so much for coming to share with us.
Thanks, Vicki. Nice to be here.
It's good to see you again. Kelly and I go back quite a few years, and it's just so neat how God is reconnecting his body, and there's opportunities to just share and hear what he's been doing. And Kelly, you've gotten involved with something that's coming up very soon, September the 11th. It's the first ever for Brantford Ovarian Cancer Walk of Hope. And I'd like you to just share with our listeners now some of what you just shared with me about how you got involved in this and what it's all about.
Sure. A friend of mine, Patty Dakota, lost her mother to ovarian cancer about 15 years ago. And just this past fall, our pastor, Andy Flatt, lost his wife, Teresa, to the same disease at 46 years of age, so close to me.
Yes.
And then just in December, another member of our congregation was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. So at that point, I think Patty had had enough.
Yeah.
And she just decided that she'd always wanted to do something for ovarian cancer, but didn't know what to do. And this just gave her the impetus to look into it more. And she found out that ovarian cancer does do a walk once a year, but that we could do it at a local level if we were willing to take it on as our own event. Right. So that's what we did.
So just the three of you, or has your church taken this on?
No, actually our whole church. Patty came up with the idea. I somehow got roped into it as well, and the whole church is hosting the event. And what we've done is our church is hosting a barbecue after the event, so after the walk, which is at Waterworks Park, starting at 2 p.m. with registration, 3 p.m. for the walk, which is either 2.5 or 5 kilometers, and then we are hosting a celebration barbecue. So Brant Community Church is putting that on.
Right, and Brant Community Church moved recently.
We did.
So just so people know where you are now.
We are on the corners of Cayuga and Superior Street, and it's the old Wesley United Church building.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now, can you fill us in a little bit about ovarian cancer? I know you had some information on it. Yes.
I guess the worst part about ovarian cancer, the worst part is it's the most deadly of women's cancers. It's not easy to detect. It's something that goes, unfortunately, undetected for quite a while, and because of that, the survival rate is only 30% after 5 years from diagnosis. So they are saying that if they could come up with early detection tests, that they could improve that to 90%. So information out to women is critical. Trying to come up with an early diagnostic test is critical because a lot of the time, unfortunately, it can be a very deadly disease by the time they diagnose it.
Now, we've both heard of people who have tackled this with the Lord, and that makes a difference in how you go through something like this. The outcome is not always the same. No. There are survivors, and there are those like Teresa who God chose to call home.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's so frustrating, isn't it? There seems to be no rhyme or reason as to who stays and who goes. But when you go through it with the Lord, it's got to be different than going through it on your own.
Absolutely. Actually, my aunt passed away from years ago from breast cancer. And when she was dying, she said, "I don't know how anybody does this without Christ."
That's right. Because no matter what, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. And it's the fear, isn't it? When you know that you know you're not alone, and that the body is a dwelling place, but it's not you.
I honestly, I can't imagine being there anymore, because I know that, and I'm so comfortable in that. Mm-hmm. That I'm comfortable with this just being a temporary location, and I totally, I'm looking forward to the day when we are eternally with Him.
With Him, right on. Back to the walk. What can you tell us about it?
Well, I mean, other than obviously Brant Community Church as a whole has been affected by this disease personally. So we've had losses, we've had struggles. Patty, when she first took this on, really felt that God was leading her to do this. I wasn't so convinced myself, but from what he's shown me, as we've been going through this, it's been amazing. Like even we've gotten a lot of coverage through the Expositor because Patty works at the Brantford General Hospital. So they've done an article on her, and that kind of spurned on a bigger article about ovarian cancer and about not only Andy and Teresa, but Jan Vesna, who is a survivor, presently cancer-free, and another lady named Barb Vervac, who is a 10-year survivor. And actually, she's a bit of a miracle because it took them 2 years to diagnose the disease. And usually that would be, very bad. But she claims she's a miracle, and I believe it. Mm-hmm. And then just as I've been doing this and going around and seeing businesses and talking to people, I just can't believe the doors I've chosen to enter, which obviously weren't my idea. Yeah. The people have been affected. Like one business owner, his mom just finished the surgery a month ago for ovarian cancer. Another gentleman, his wife is a survivor. Another one, his wife was predisposed for the disease, so preemptively they, did some things so that she could be, safe from that outcome. So it's been unbelievable. I can't, every time it happens, I'm like, I shouldn't be. I should always understand that that's how God works, but it's still, he gets me. Yeah. So I love it. And it's been so affirming, step after step after step. So, and things are just coming together. From the article in the newspaper, women who've recently been diagnosed or gone through the treatment have called and just said how much it means to them that we're doing something that they can get involved with. Another poor lady just got diagnosed the day before that article came out in the paper. And because of that, I mean, talk about feeling that a godsend.
Right.
But she got to contact Barb Vervac, the survivor, and she and Jan and this woman are all now, in communication, and they're supporting her through this. So it's been awesome.
How can people get involved in this? Because I'm sure that in just the contact that you've just talked about, there was all of those who had been affected one way or another. And as this goes over the airwaves now, I believe that among our listeners, there are going to be those who can absolutely identify with this and hopefully will want to get involved. So what do you need? Obviously walkers, but are there any other needs, any other ways? Suppose you can't do the walk. How else can we get involved?
Yeah, so we are still looking for walkers. We're about 2.5 weeks to the event. So we're looking for individual walkers, or if people want to put a team together, a group at the office or whatever it is, friends. I make my friends do these things. I'm not sure they love me for it, but I make them do it. But we can also use help on the day of the event if people want to come out and help. We have to set up, do the barbecue, tear down, volunteer to greet, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And also sponsoring. So just giving a donation to the cause.
There's a website, right, that they can go to?
The best way to look it up is to go on the internet to Ovarian Cancer walkofhope.ca, and that's all one word. Okay. And on there, then you pick location, Ontario, and then Brantford, and it will come up, and you can either go on and make a donation, you can see who the top fundraisers are, it will give you the details for the event. We're also looking for any businesses if they're interested in sponsoring the event, and we've had a number in Brantford do that, so that's great. Beckett Glaze Family Funeral Center. Freshco is actually supplying all our food for the barbecue.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, Tim Hortons is going to be there, so Canadian coffee. Ted Ward Griffin with Remax has come on board, and Kia recently, Kia Brantford. If anybody's interested in any of those things, they can contact myself or Patty, and my phone number is 519-755-1823, and my email kmarkdvm@yahoo.com, or Patty is Patty Dakota, and her number's 519-759-5013, and her email is Decoto, DECOTEAU 123 @rogers.com. And actually, Patty and I will be out at the Linden Park Mall at 11 a.m. and we'll have a table with information. I can actually register people if they want. We can tell them more about the disease. We can tell them more about the walk. Whatever they'd like to, we'd love to see them.
Awesome. Now, is this a rain or shine or rain event?
It certainly is.
Okay.
And we ask people to pray for shine, please.
Yes.
As it obviously makes it much easier to host an event that's outdoors. And if it is at Waterworks Park, and the rail trail will be used for the walk, but it will be rain or shine, so come prepared.
Okay.
And I don't know if I mentioned it's either a 2.5 or a 5 kilometer walk.
Right. And now, can they just show up that day, or do they have to pre-register?
No, you can show up on the day of. Of course, we like people to try to raise some money for the event, because that goes toward the research and the funding, obviously, for Ovarian Cancer Canada. But if they want to come and walk, they can show up on the day. Some people are raising funds online, and some people don't like that, so they're doing it old-fashioned with a sponsor sheet, where you write it all down, and you can bring all that stuff. We have a registration table at the walk, and that starts at 2 p.m. on this September 11th, and we will register people, and then we're going to have the George Rose Big Band there. Roger Davis of Roger Davis Fuel sponsors that, so we'll have some music, and we'll have Jordan Clark, who is a local Christian artist. He'll be there. He does music, and then we're going to have Marco the Clown and games for kids and a couple other clowns and just all kinds of stuff. So we expect it to be a lot of fun.
Thank you so much. I know that this is very close to your heart, Kelly, and I appreciate you taking the time to come and share with our listeners. And again, I just want to encourage everybody, if you know of anybody who's been affected or any family or friend that's been affected, do find out the information. Come and get involved if you can. Once again, that website was ovariancancerwalkofhope.ca. Ontario, go to Ontario and then Brantford, and all the information will be there. Or come check out Kelly and Patty at Winners at Linden Park Mall on Saturday.
Yeah, at 11 a.m. This Saturday, 11 a.m.
All right.
And Winners is having a big sale, so it's a good time to go. And if I could just ask people to just please pray for this event. Just that God does what he wants with it.
Yes.
And that his will be done.
I always believe that as people meet and talk and connect, there's so many things that that take place that you would never even know was going to happen. God gave me a really cool, this is very quick, very cool little acronym for the word today. And it was enter today with T, Thanksgiving, for the O, opportunities, and divine and destiny appointments that Yeshua has already planned and is going to bring forth. So on that day, as you wake up that day, you don't know all what's involved, but just enter it with thankfulness, because
Amen.
he has already planned destiny appointments for people, and I believe a lot of that takes place just as we come together and share.
I'm very excited about that as part of the opportunity. And our pastor, Andy Flatt, will be speaking in the closing ceremonies for the event. So I think that it'll just be great for people to hear what Christ and how Christ makes a difference in this type of situation.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Kelly.
Thanks so much, Vicki.
Okay, bye-bye.
You have been listening to Reality Radio, where God has touched ordinary people in an extraordinary way.
You are invited to participate in the first annual Ovarian Cancer Mini Walk of Hope. This event is being hosted by Brant Community Church. The walk takes place on Sunday, September 11th. Registration starts at 2 p.m. at Waterworks Park, 390 Grand River Avenue. After the walk, there will be a celebration barbecue to follow, There will be entertainment by the George Rose Big Band, Jordan Clark, and Marco the Clown and friends. There will be face painting, games, something for the whole family. Register online at ovariancancerwalkofhope.ca. Click on Ontario and Brantford.